New radio and the Door County Daily News. Tim Cole joined by head coach Mike Peck after a 43-8 loss to Sevastopol. And coach, obviously you started off strong in that second quarter with that long touchdown pass, but then the wheels kind of fell off after that.
Yeah, it's we had a defensive stop on the first series, which is positive. I mean, like we talked about last week, we're starting to build the little ones. We had a couple stops tonight. Defensively, we made them go the length of the field, or at least wherever they started from, in more than one play. I mean, the one biggest play we gave up was the safety where we kicked it and they returned it on us. Other than that, we've done a little bit more of what our defense is designed to do, make them take 10, 15 plays to get there. Well, they did it. So we clap our hands, tell them great job, and we'll go back to the drawing board and see what we can do for next week.
And, they obviously scored on consecutive possessions in that first half, but you kind of mentioned there as well, you have to be pretty happy with how the defense played in the second half. A couple of turnovers on downs. You give up only really the one touchdown in that second half because the other one obviously came on the punt return.
Yeah, I mean, we had probably one of my most impassioned halftime speeches since I've been taking the job. Like, I just told the kids, like, listen, at some point we gotta have a little heart. We gotta find it, and they're gonna run you off your own field on homecoming. And is that the way you want to go? I mean, it's your biggest game of the year in theory. If we win only one, that's the one everybody says we gotta win. And you just let them score 28 on you. Are you going to go down 56-0? How is this game going to end? And I just challenged them to not have a running clock. Unfortunately, we did have one at the end, but more of that's probably that safety and then the punt return that we couldn't stop. And then, I think we did some positive things. We switched to a defense we hadn't practiced all year. In the middle of the second half, just trying it. I mean, we're throwing everything but the kitchen sink out there, and we'll see what sticks, and we'll find something these kids are good at, and we'll put that game plan together, and we'll be ready next week for, I think, Gillette.
And what is that like? And I think you've done that as well on offense too a little bit, where it's kind of like whatever you came in with in the pregame, you kind of have to say, you know what, that's not working. We got to switch. What is that like to kind of gear your players up to get them to kind of change course?
The hardest thing that I think we're finding, and I think we've talked about it yet, we're young. We're very young, and as some of our kids start dropping and we get injuries, we get younger as kids come in, and unfortunately some of those younger kids during the week are on the scout team, and they may not be paying as close attention to what's going on the offensive side or defensive side, however you look at it. And then when they get thrown in on Friday night, they weren't paying attention, and you can kind of see it. Like we talked about, we had four to six specific offensive plays we wanted to run tonight. We thought it'd be successful. We ran one of the six because the other two times we tried to run them, the kids just weren't in the right spot, didn't have things going the right way, and things just didn't work out. So we went back to our base plays and tried to get some success by the end of the game. And we got to build something, and if that means, we only get good at 2 or 3 plays from now till the end of the year, that's what we're gonna have to do.
Final message to your team tonight as they walked off the field, and now they got the homecoming dance and kind of finish off this week. Obviously, the work week ends on a sour note, but still they got the dance and everything like that.
Yeah, I was in the huddle. I was completely positive. There's some other things I'm going to address on Monday at practice that I wasn't overly happy with that happened on the sideline and maybe on the field that we'll discuss and we'll clean up as a team. But my message to them was, listen, you answered the bell in the second half. It was 15-8 or 16-8, whatever it happened to be. And if we play 2 halves like that, it's a competitive game and we can live with that. So I just talked to them. I got a really good pregame or halftime speech about a caterpillar or a centipede or something, and I didn't realize I needed it, but apparently maybe it's one of those ones I got to pull back out of the Rolodex, and we'll hit the kids with it next week on the pregame, so that hopefully we're not in that situation where we have to fire them up at halftime. Maybe it's just something I got a little fire before the game.
We'll revisit that when we talk to you before that Gillette game. This is going to be like Justin Burris and the Goldfish thing. Yeah. Who knows? So Coach Mike Peck, we thank you so much for joining us, and we'll try it again next week when you guys head to Gillette.
Sounds good, Tim. Thank you.
You're watching 105.1 The GOAT and the new Radio Sports Network.